The clock is ticking at the Stadium of Light, and with contracts entering their final months, Sunderland are facing decisions that could define their Premier League survival. There is no room for sentiment, no space for nostalgia. It is about who is ready for the challenge ahead and who becomes a casualty of top-flight football. At the centre of that tension sits Dennis Cirkin, a player whose situation reflects both the promise and the risk within Sunderland's current project. Dennis Cirkin's situation is as delicate as it is decisive. The 23-year-old entered the final phase of his contract with momentum building after recovering from an early season injury, only for another setback in February to halt his progress at the worst possible moment. Just as he seemed ready to establish himself consistently at Premier League level, another injury struck. Yet despite those concerns, Regis Lebris has already suggested that a contract extension could be offered. That says a great deal about how the club views Cirkin internally. This is not just about availability, it is about potential. Sunderland see a Premier League level fullback when he is fit, and allowing him to leave on a free would represent both a sporting and financial loss for a club that has rebuilt carefully. The question is whether they take the risk on his fitness or move to protect themselves from further uncertainty. Then there is the contrasting situation of Dan Neil, a player who represents the other side of Sunderland's transition to the Premier League. Neil was central to the club's success in the Championship, starting 44 matches and controlling the tempo of games throughout the season. He was not just dependable, he was vital. But the step up in level has changed his role completely. The squad has evolved, the demands have increased, and Neil has found himself pushed out of the main plans. His loan move to Ipswich Town in January was not just temporary, it was a strong indication that his time at Sunderland may be coming to an end. With his contract expiring this summer, he is now close to becoming a free agent. It is a tough reality, especially for a player so closely tied to the club's recent progress. But this is the nature of the Premier League. Loyalty does not guarantee a place. Past contributions do not outweigh current demands. Sunderland are building to compete, and that means difficult decisions. Beyond the main headlines, there are quieter but equally important developments shaping the squad. Bertrand Traoré, signed from Ajax, has become a reliable option under Lebris, contributing regularly and bringing experience at key moments. Sunderland hold an option to extend his contract by a further year, and activating it appears a logical step to maintain stability and value. Then there is Harrison Jones, just 20 years old, who has already shown glimpses of his potential, including a composed display against Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup. The club also have the option to extend his deal, and this type of decision reflects smart squad management, balancing cost and long-term development. At the same time, a clear-out is quietly taking place. Joe Anderson has largely disappeared from the first-team picture, with only a single appearance for the under-21s, and his pathway looks blocked. Simon Moore's situation tells a similar story. Even with Robin Roufs unavailable, Moore was overlooked, with new signing Melker Elborg preferred instead. These decisions may not attract attention, but they are essential. Managing the wage bill, removing players no longer in the plans, and creating space for reinforcements is part of operating at Premier League level. Sunderland are not just building a squad, they are refining it, removing anything that does not meet the demands of the division. So now it comes down to you. If you had to choose, would you renew Dennis Cirkin's contract and back his talent despite the injury concerns? Or would you allow Dan Neil to leave with the respect he has earned as a key figure in Sunderland's rise? Is the club becoming too ruthless, or is this simply what it takes to stay in the Premier League?